This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. This meeting is an in-person meeting at the location listed above, which is 870 Colfax. Questions may be submitted beforehand to liz.goodwin@bhas.org or presented in person during the public comment sections as indicated in the agenda. Board members may be contacted through the emails listed below. Requests for special assistance, including for persons with disabilities, may be sent to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. I call this meeting to order officially at 5:37 p.m. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda, we have roll call. Secretary Triplett.
President Robinson.
Present.
Vice President Bradley.
Present.
Secretary Triplett, present. Treasurer Creighton. Trustee Bowen. Trustee Buchanan.
Present.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Present.
Quorum has been established.
All right, thank you. Next, we have approval of the agenda. We do not have as hefty of an agenda as we normally do today, as well as Dr. Butts is going to be giving our reports for each of our departments as it relates to teaching and learning, business and finance, and human resources, which is perfectly fine because he is the only employee of the Board of Education. So we're going to go ahead and proceed and move forward. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Buchanan. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett.
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan.
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, awesome. Next, we have review of our board norms. I'll go through those really quickly. The Board of Education norms for Benton Harbor area schools: we will treat each other with respect. We will listen to learn. We will refrain from side conversations. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. My goal is to get us out of here in 2 hours or less today, which I think is completely feasible. We will challenge ideas, not people. We will ask questions when in doubt. There will be no surprises at the board table. We will practice the 7 norms of collaboration. Those are pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, and presuming positive intentions. Next on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. Is there anyone here that would like to make a comment on an agenda item? All right, hearing none, I will refrain from reading the statement at this time. There is another opportunity for public comment towards the end of the agenda. We are going to proceed with approval of our meeting minutes. What you have in your packets are the meeting minutes for regular session 9/13/2022, closed session 9/13/2022, and special session 10/6/2022. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
I second the motion.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett.
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan.
Yeah.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, awesome. Yes.
Madam President, this roll call voting sheet does not have a space on here for the
Meeting minutes.
for the meeting minutes. So we'll make sure that we include that in that on the record. Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. All right, so next on under board business is just a reminder that we're going to be conscious in keeping our board comments under 2 minutes per topic. And we are going to proceed with committee reports. Treasurer Creighton is not present this afternoon. However, our reports I've noticed normally are extremely similar to the updates that we receive from each of our areas on our agenda. So we should get updates as needed under the business and finance section, as well as Dr. Butt's updates that he gives us later. We have the Human Resources Committee report, so I will pass the floor over to Trustee Rocket Martin. And as a reminder, you do have the power to pass the mic to anyone if they have questions during your report.
Okay, good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. Human Resource Committee, our notes read as follows. We have reviewed the list of new hires and separations. Unfortunately, the library specialist who was approved by the board at the last session has decided to stay in his current job and will not be joining our district. Posting is on the Benton Harbor and MASBO websites for a chief financial officer. Dr. Butts is in contact with Barry and Reese and other resources to ensure that the district continues to function efficiently and be in compliance since we don't have our chief financial officer anymore in place. We do have a potential band teacher for the middle school. And because of the nature of the confidentiality, I'm not at liberty to say, but it will be a star for us. So that's the end of our minutes for our HR committee.
All right, awesome, thank you. Any questions for Trustee Rocket Martin? All right, hearing none, thank you so much. We'll pass the floor over to Secretary Triplett with the Curriculum and SPED Committee report.
There is no report for the curriculum committee this evening, Madam President. We are in the process of merging our schedules together so that we can meet. They have been extremely busy, from my understanding, trying to get the school open and starting school. So we will be meeting this week, the superintendent and myself, along with Chief Academic Officer Waddell, and Dr. Bus does have some information report from the curriculum committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the Facilities Committee report. Vice President Bradley.
Good evening, everyone. I sent out the facility committee notes here a few weeks ago, but I'll do a quick overview. And if Dr. Butts or Mr. Bullock, if you need to add anything, let me know, or if I missed something. We sat down with our master plan and site logics. That's going to be a standing agenda item so we can get the ball rolling. From what I understand, this is one of President Robertson's goals, to get a master plan in place for our facilities. Facility director and superintendent were meeting with Andy Egan to get some issues resolved around payments and stuff. And so they're making sure that things are in place for the upcoming heating season as they're pertaining to our heating plants in our buildings. Facilities address the heating issues in the cafeteria and have installed some controls to regulate the temperature, because we already know the heat was set on bake. Literally, you walk in there and you be right ready to fall out. Teen center maintenance was addressed. Facilities will be revisiting pool maintenance estimates and updates from the 2017 estimate. Midwest Glass has a quote to replace broken and damaged windows. Glass, and they're going to do the glass atrium repairs before they can do any other work, so that the building can stay dry. Facility staff also will be doing extensive cleaning of the teen center, and I'm pretty sure y'all have an update with that going on. The athletic facilities, the football stadium cleaning, pressure washer, concrete and bleachers, and even the press box got the letters up. I walked up there and I said, "Ooh," So some landscaping work is going to be done. We're making sure that they were holding payment until the work was complete on landscaping, because you want to make sure you get that work done. Pothole filling is going to be done to patch some of the potholes. The press box glass replacement, and they did get as I mentioned before, the letters on the Empire Avenue side of the press box. We had a discussion around securing our closed facilities and ways to better monitor them and who will have access to those facilities. And we also discussed keeping Hull open as our spare building. So in the case of anything happening, during the heating season, or just, life happens, we have our backup building. So we wanted to make sure we keep that occupied and our certificate of occupancy doesn't expire. Some ideas we thought about is probably using it as a training center and other uses. Alarm codes are going to be reissued, and facilities and superintendent will investigate a system of how they will not be shared, so that we can limit access to our buildings and who only will need that access to them. the time of snow removal is fast approaching. Ugh. And we discussed our snow removal contracts. Hopefully it's a mild winter. Fingers crossed. Facility director discussed custodial staff equipment training and staff recognition, other types of recognition around facility care and use. And that's the end of the facility report. Any questions or Secretary Triplett or President Robinson wanted to add anything?
No, sir, I think you did a great job. Secretary
Appreciate
Triplett.
it.
I think the report is accurate. I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for the work that they did as it relates to the lettering on the football stadium, and also for the power washing. We've been speaking on that for 2 years. And it was very, very concerning. So for them to get on top of that was very, very important. And it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to the community. I am just very, very concerned, and probably we need to look at our contracts as it relates to ground, because it is very disturbing to me when I drive up to a place and I see grass growing out of the parking lot. That's a concern for me. When I see grass growing out of bleachers, that's a concern for me. And what that says to me, that is neglect. And we have not stopped. One thing that we have not stopped doing, we have not stopped paying anybody. Everybody, we have not had a time when we did not meet our payroll. And so our basketball season is coming up. The hallways at Ben Harbor High School, the first floor looked very, very nice. I've had an opportunity to go up, but I think the work just needs to be continuous and make sure that we are on top of it. I was in the facilities at the event this weekend. I was getting ready to take pictures in the gymnasium, and the back walls looked horrific. They still look the same. The gym looked absolutely horrible. And that is the main hub of this community. So I hope that we've been talking about for 3 or 4 months now about walkthroughs, and also was requested to have a walkthrough with the athletic director as it relates to the athletic facilities, because I do not know the connection. I'm not clear on what that connection is, why our facilities look the way in which they look, but you guys are doing an absolutely amazing job. And thank you so very much for that report.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Trustee Buchanan.
Yeah, I would also like to say to an athletic office down here, a lady that she's gone on home. She kept that gymnasium. Used to go on after school out all summer. You see Ben Harbor uniforms all over the town. But I don't know if anybody kept it up like Miss Harvey did, Ruth Harvey. And she was tremendous in that office. And she kept it neat and clean, uniform clean. And we should just, for 1 second, say thank you and close our eyes and bow our head. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Buchanan. Any other questions or comments regarding the facilities update? All right, next on the agenda, I overlooked this at the start of the meeting, that we have the superintendent search discussion. I know that we had the discussion in our September meeting. It's October. Was there any additional comments or concerns that you all wanted to add regarding this topic? I know that we had everyone present except for Vice President Bradley. But at this particular time, is there any additional comments?
I was just going to say, I know down in New Buffalo, I don't know if you all are familiar with that. They are looking for a superintendent as well. But what they've done is put it on hold because of election season. And so I think we, right now, with our interim doing an awesome job right now, they just put it off on hold. I know some people on the board wants us to rush it, but going through a superintendent search before, me and Trustee Buchanan, going through that process, it's a lengthy process and it's a strenuous process, but it's something that you want to take very seriously. So I think we should just wait until after the new year and see where we stand.
Trustee Raquel Martin.
Madam President, I'd like to know, can we take a vote as to whether or not we want to even do a superintendent search?
So we are able to take a vote on whether or not we want to, when you speak on doing a superintendent search, do you mean an actual utilizing a search firm, or whether we want to actually seek a different alternative? I'm not sure which question you're asking.
Different alternatives.
Okay, so that is something that we would be able to take a vote on. My preference would be that we would be all present to have that conversation. I noticed that in the media updates before, the headings read as if the board was undecided on what it wanted to do. However, I think that the conversation that we had last month was slightly misconstrued in that we came in with the focus to get our superintendent on the ground, updated on everything that was going on, acclimated to our district, and our school system starting off to a great start for the school year. And so we had not had an opportunity to come back together collectively as a Board of Education to have that conversation since we got started with the school year. And so there was an initial plan that we had all discussed in previous meetings on how we wanted to proceed, but there were also several discussions at the board table about how well of a job individuals thought that Dr. Butts was doing. And so I simply put the discussion topic on there last month to give individuals an opportunity as to discuss how we want to proceed as it relates to the search, the time frame involving the community. And so I think it was taken as if we are not aware of how to proceed, but it was more so a conversation allowing us to get on one collective accord regarding what that looks like. So want to see if anyone else has any additional discussion topics added related to this topic. If not, we can. Secretary Triplett.
One thing that I would like to say, and I'm very happy as it relates to the direction, the transition from our previous superintendent to this present superintendent was seamless, and I don't think people expected that. They expected chaos and mayhem and all of those things, and that did not happen. I too agree with you that this discussion is something that we need to have the entire board present, so there won't be any appearance of anything, nothing. Also, it is very important that we know, since Dr. Butts has been here in July, since July, August, September, October, he has been here 4 months, that it is our responsibility in November, regardless to whether or not he is the superintendent or not, the permanent superintendent or not, we must have an evaluation meeting in November. So I would like you to put that on the table for us to be able to get Dr. Butts prepared for the first session of the interviews and what have you. I mean, the evaluation.
Right.
It is required by this Board of Education to make sure that we do this and get back on cycle. I myself personally think that we're in a good place. And and we also did say that we wanted to genuinely involve this community. We have 40 to 50 people who worked on this strategic plan. We must go to this community and ask them. This is not about an individual, but we need to ask them about what it is that this community wants. Just because we are the elected official does not mean, and we do have that authority, but we must be transparent and we must be inclusive, because that'll take away from all the other things. And so when we do hopefully in November, we can get it set, but we do the first initial evaluation conference with Dr. Butts at this particular juncture.
We can also use that first week or so in December as well, as long as we get it done within November or December. We're flexible on that calendar. Trustee Buchanan, and then we'll proceed. I think
Superintendent
everyone's had an
Robinson.
opportunity to talk. Yes.
Superintendent Robinson, you know, when we
All right now.
we were discussing the superintendent, and I said, why, somebody called me and said, Lou, that was real nice what you had in the paper about paying them money. I figure like this, Mr. Butts is here. You have the president and the secretary and the vice president. Don't break any rules. You know, people expect for you to fall down. But if Mr. Butts has done a wonderful job, and people have told me when he was at Fairplain, you didn't come over there. Now you to eat Mr. Butts up. Mr. Butts up. I didn't know I didn't ever go to school because of transportation. And then I'm old now, my leg hurt. But I know he done a good job. So I used to visit the school myself and see for myself. And I've had some teachers to tell me he's done good. And I asked Mr. Triplett and Ms. Raquel Martin, Cause they was swearing you up and down. I hadn't seen you. But like I said, if I pay $5,000 to get a superintendent, will help me come here and stay 2 months and go back to Texas. Let's keep Mr. Butt, but do it right.
It costs way more than $5,000.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah, you know they want more than that, probably.
All right, so thank you all. I know Vice President Bradley wasn't here last month, so I did want him to have an opportunity to express his thoughts and also get rid of the inaccurate reflection provided from the media that we are unclear on how to proceed. It was an opportunity to give our Board of Education time to discuss this particular matter at the board table. We've had much to deal with since July. We're trying to make sure that this transition was seamless, that Dr. Buss was fully acclimated to the district. We are a rare district. We cannot proceed as quickly as others because there's a lot that we have on the line. And so I want to ensure that everyone knows that we are fully educated as Board of Education members, and we are going to proceed as we determine to be best fit for the best interests of Benton Harbor area schools. So with that being said, I am going to pass the mic over to Dr. Butts with strategic plan updates.
Thank you, Madam President. With the strategic plan update that I have, we are still working on those updates for the metrics and the timeline. We've begun our interviews for our 2 chief positions. So we will put those metrics and dates with the strategic plan as soon as we have those positions filled.
All right, thank you, Dr. Butts. And I also just want to use this opportunity to say that, and I've kind of made this comment in our meetings privately, that we were trying to keep our table steady by putting you at the top and at the lead of our district. And so now at this particular time, we do have a little balancing act to do. And I just want to commend you for the work and efforts that you've made to ensure that this district moves forward. We, as always, wish everyone the best as they pursue additional opportunities for themselves. However, the work of Benton Harbor area schools will continue. And the soldiers that are meant to be here in this battle with us will be here. So I commend you for your efforts in keeping things moving forward and being creative in how to do so. So I am going to allow you to continue to have the floor. I know this is going to be a back and forth conversation with yourself and the Board of Education. So you can proceed with your bus update.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for the compliment. With the bus update in your packet, you should have received. The Whirlpool Foundation approved a request for $42,000 to purchase a used school bus and convert it into a mobile digital resource for the community. Part of our strategic plan is partnering with our community. This is key to one of our goal areas in the strategic plan as a method of outreach to our community. By bringing technology and partnerships to the parents, it will better engage them with their children and the school system. And what I have for you is just a quick video of what the bus will look like. But prior to Ms. Liz playing that in your packages, this would be a sketch. It's just a sketch of what, hold for a second, Mr. Corson. Mr. Corson, if you could hold for a second. Thank you. In your packets, what we have is a sketch of what we expect the bus to look like once we're done. But the video just goes to show what to expect when we retrofit the bus and how it will help impact our community. In just a few minutes of it, Ms. Liz. Yes, ma'am. And you can skip forward if you like, just a little bit. They just moved. I'm coming. So the purpose, I'm sorry. The purpose of the bus.
I'm gonna also ask if everyone can remove their mics from facing them while they're not talking so that we don't pick up any additional noise of coughing or things like that.
The purpose of the bus is to remove the barrier from the community and school. The purpose of the bus is to be able to go into the community and educate our parents and our students that may be challenged either with transportation or other health impairment issues or with childcare. This way we can go directly into the community and share with them what we are offering through the schools, also provide opportunities for learning opportunities, providing opportunities for our partners to go out and share things that they have available to the community. And also for that part of the community that have decided to take their kids elsewhere, to get their input on what we can do to gain our students back in our district. So it's a community outreach, but it's also a teachable moment for our community and a way to gather information that we need as we use our strategic plan to move forward.
All right, thank you, Dr. Buss. And before we allow for additional questions, I just wanted to add, when he initially shared this idea with me, the first thing that I thought about was Trustee Bowens asking whether or not the community is aware of our strategic plan efforts and a lot of the efforts that we are pursuing here at Benton Harbor Area Schools. And so taking our message directly to the community would be an excellent way to ensure that they are aware of the strategic plan, but it also creates a mobile outlet for two-way communication. The district will have the opportunity to communicate with the community, the things and opportunities and resources that we have, but also gives the opportunity for the community to communicate its needs and desires and wants, and will be an excellent way for us to reclaim our students and enrollment and show the community that we care and we're trying to get out there. So just wanted to add that extra insight, and then I'll open the floor to see if anyone has any questions or comments regarding his bus initiative. Secretary Triplett.
I think this would be a great initiative, opportunity. I too myself, I just don't always want to appear to be negative Nelly. I oftentimes struggle with people who, or institutions or community people, we use that word community partners, partners have a specific meaning. And so, you can't be double-minded. And so for me, like I said, this is an opportunity for us to, and I hear it, like go out and we talk about recruiting students, but I think what we need to focus in on is loving and taking care of the ones that we have and making sure that if it's 1,500 kids, that's who we need to be focused in on and making sure they have everything that they need in order to be successful. And once they see us having things in place and that we're taking care of them, they will want to go back. These gimmicks and what have you, all of the frying chicken, we give them all that they come and eat and go back and register a kid in other places. But whatever we've been given, remember we've been given this school year, all of our staff from the top to the bottom to the least, we have to take care of them first. And once they see us treat them and make them whole, then we will get the opportunity. People will come back on their own. So I can see this being a very instrumental tool in leading towards that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Any additional comments? Vice President Bradley.
I was just going to say, just to say what you were saying when Dr. Buss was, me and him were having a conversation, he had told me this vision, and definitely do agree too, Secretary Triplett, that this will help with our community outreach, because a lot of times people will say, well, I haven't seen nobody from the school and all that. But when I heard the enthusiasm in the superintendent's voice, I was on board with this, because if we definitely, as you can see in the video, we can definitely get our folks to get more computer savvy, especially some of our grandparents and grandparents, and knowing, oh, you can go and check in this system and see what your child is doing at school and look at how they're doing academically. And, just to help boost up skills and to help with virtual learning too, because that is on the forefront. So I'm happy to see that it's something that's coming across the board table.
All right, trustee Raquel Martin, did you have any questions or comments before we proceed?
Not really. I think it's a great idea, and it's a chance for the community to interact with the school. And you'll be surprised how our bus will be outfitted with the computer type thing. You'll be surprised how that alone will just draw folks to your community, to you. Because a lot of people want to know how to work with computers and what to do with them and how they can access them to help their children. You'll be surprised. So I think that's an excellent idea.
All right, so I am going to proceed. Thank you, Dr. Buss, for providing this initiative to us. I think the initial image draft that we have looks great. I did hear trustee Raquel Martin mention she'd like to see that second to none on there somewhere,
Okay.
just as a example.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to proceed. Dr. Buss, you still have the floor with the facilities update.
Thank you. In your package, you should have pictures in the facilities update. Some of this will be repetitive from Vice President Bradley's report. We power wash the field box, wash the clean the mold off the back of the bleachers. The boilers have been turned on for testing. So if it feels a little warm in here and in all the school buildings, they have been turned on for a test run. At this time, there was a leaking valve that was replaced and the heat is working. At Fairplain Middle School, that first portion was at Benton Harbor Area High School. The second portion, Fairplain Middle School, we're still waiting on another quote for the brick repair. And we turned the boilers on over at that school for this week for testing as well. At Fairplain East, we've turned the boiler on for a test run. No problems reported at this time. At MLK, the boilers have been turned on for a test run. When they were turned on, we replaced 2 relief valves and 4 igniters. At DC, Discovery Enrichment Center, we turned on the boilers for a test run and replaced 2 relief valves. And at Cape, the boiler will be turned on by the end of this week for a test run. For the district, we're in the process of getting estimates to get doors rekeyed for the doors to lock during lockdowns or in an emergency event. We received new filters for the water fountains that we'll be installing and turning them back on. The Care Counts Whirlpool Laundry Program has been started back in each school, in each open school. The Feel Good Fridge Program, which is sponsored by Whirlpool, has been started in each school. New refrigerators have been delivered to the schools that did not receive them last year, and the food delivery has been started.
All right, any questions for Dr. Butts? All right, thank you so much. You can proceed with your athletics update. Oh, trustee Raquel Martin does have a
The
question.
food program, have you gotten any feedback from the community or the people that have been accessing that?
We have not yet, but we will be setting up a survey so that we can make sure that we are providing them what they need instead of just giving out unwanted items. So that was one of the things that we were going to set up for the community, to make sure that we're getting what they actually need or want in their homes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Secretary Triplett.
Also, so we have people, employees that manage this type of program in each individual school. So it's somebody there that's managing it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if that's the case, those are types of conversations that they could be the ones that initially
Right.
get out there, and say, okay, what's happening, talking to the kids when we have our parent-teacher conferences and what have you, which are coming up very quickly.
Yes, sir.
To be able to have that type of discourse, to make sure, like you said, that we're making sure that we're meeting the need of the people and not just doing a checklist.
Correct.
Saying that this is what we did, but we're actually meeting the needs of our community within the parameters that will be in alignment with our nutrition expectations and what our kids, you know, like to eat. There's no need to buying a whole bunch of broccoli, have that in the refrigerator, nobody eats it.
I
You
do.
know, yeah, I do too, you know, now, but yes, so I mean, that's great, but I would just like to put that out there. You have people that's monitoring it, we have a lot of people that work in these schools. We
Right.
got the interventionist assistant, there's the pop-up book person that carry the books. We got a whole bunch of people on all these grants and different things, so we need to take advantage of the things that we're doing. Don't need to hire nobody else. Got enough folk in there should be able to do these types of things. A bunch of folk working.
Excuse me.
Thank you so very
Yes, sir.
much. That was just a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
All right, you can continue, Dr. Butts, with the athletics update.
With the, excuse me, the athletic board, the athletic updates, I'm sorry, excuse me for a second. The athletic trainer contract at Lakeland is signed. The next steps are posted for Lakeland to procure an athletic trainer for Ben Harbor Area Schools athletics. The position is posted with Lakeland Health. Pixelot streaming system contract we do have. We will be signing that at the Central Administration's office after we have our attorneys to look over that contract. This year, our Tiger athletes and teams will have the opportunity to receive all conference recognition. This will be the first time since 2016. Again, go Tigers, second to none. We're working on procuring programs to offer digital ticket sales at the games. The fall sports, the football game, the Tigers hosted Brandywine for our homecoming game on 9/30/22. The Tigers took a 14-0 victory for the Tigers. Next up, the Tigers hosted the Wajak. Yes. The Tigers hosted the Wajak in the Lakeland Conference contest at home last week on 10/6. Our Tigers came away with a tough win over the Wajak's team, 14-12. This is good. With volleyball, the Lady Tigers traveled to Brandywine on Thursday as well, to take on the Bucks of Buchanan. Next week, the Lady Tigers would take on the Buffalo on 10/12 at 6:30 p.m. and Berrien Springs on 10/13 at home for a 6 p.m. game. With the middle school sports, football plays at home on, middle school report. But the upcoming schedule of games, we have, it should be in your packet. And if not, Ms. Liz can pull that up on the screen for all upcoming sports events that you can see back now on the screen if it's not in your packet. And that should conclude the updates for the sports, for the athletics update, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, Dr. Butts. Any questions or comments? Vice President Bradley?
I just wanted to say I'm happy and impressed with what I'm seeing in the athletics department. I know we still have some work to do. As far as that go, I was out doing some campaigning yesterday, and I had spoke to a parent, and she did have some concerns about the athletics. So when we get a chance, we'll talk to Dr. Butts about some of her concerns.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Secretary Triplett?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for giving us this report. Whoever's responsible for preparing this for our superintendent, hopefully the mistakes and stuff will be removed and that the information in this report presented to the Board of Education is full and accurate and complete. I am very concerned about the condition of the athletic department here at Ben Harbor Area Schools. Very, very, very concerned and really need some guidance, if you will, on how to move, what direction, the questions, the things that I have observed. Also, I would like, if you can possibly let me know, this Friday, Ben Harbor, we're playing Buchanan, and a win would possibly secure them a conference championship. I've noticed, and I watch the games, I follow the games and what have you, and I noticed that our varsity cheerleaders are not traveling. Our varsity cheerleaders should be at every game that varsity team plays. I coached cheerleading here for 27 years. And one of the things that they were saying is that, you know, the travel and this and that and the other, if the boys can travel, those girls should be able to travel as well. This championship game, are they taking a student body bus? What kind of things are happening? But that varsity cheerleading squad should be at that game. And every team that varsity, every game, at least that the varsity team is there, our varsity cheerleaders should be present. Also, one more thing, I guess I could talk to you about it later because I'm looking at the pom-poms and the materials that they have. And I don't understand how they don't have the best. I don't understand why they still have pom-poms from 7 or 8 years ago and those types of things. We have to motivate and encourage our kids. Cheerleaders are a very critical part. They are ambassadors for the school district and they are a very critical part to the athletic program. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. We will go ahead and proceed with the student support services updates, and Secretary Triplett, you and Dr. Bus can get together more about the concerns that you've expressed, given your expertise
Yes, ma'am.
in that particular area. But Dr. Bus, you have the floor.
Thank you. With the Care Counts program update, Ms. Cleatha Nichols is officially overseeing this important partnership with Whirlpool. Thank you for Ms. Nichols for this update. With the washers and dryers, CAPE is still waiting on a part for one of their washing machines. MLK washing machines were replaced, but still need to be moved to a different location. The high school is in the planning stages. We need to find a location for the washer and dryer. There's a meeting scheduled for the 7th, which should have already taken place to discuss the high school's plans for this program. The laundry supplies order was placed with Whirlpool, and they will send kits to each building that include laundry bags. Student parent participation, all buildings are working on plans to inform and encourage participation. The buildings will have a schedule for parents to sign up. With the data management portion of that, participants will be identified and collaborate with Cleatha will work with Whirlpool to share the identified rosters and demographics. Other information such as attendance and academic metrics will be gathered and shared. We will start implementing the process and using data from the 21-22 school year to establish a baseline prior to the formal introduction of the program this school year. There will be a parent permission slip for data collection that will be sent home under this program. For the Delta, are there any questions or concern about the Care Counts laundry program?
No, sorry.
Okay. Moving forward with the Delta Dental's Stupendous Dentist Reading Program, each building will get a dental hygiene closet for their students. In addition, our elementary students will participate in the 45-minute reading program, where a dental hygienist will come in and read to the students and discuss the importance of literacy and discuss the importance of dental hygiene. Meeting with the principals will be on October 25th with a program start date in November. So with this, all schools will have a dental hygiene closet along with the personal hygiene closets that we already have in place for our students. And there's a literacy component with that's attached.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bus. Any questions or comments regarding that? I think it's awesome. Any additional resources we can provide to help overcome barriers for our students and our families, I think is amazing, of course, from a social work lens. So thank you for your efforts and for providing that update. And you can proceed with your teaching and learning updates. First, we have the Department of Teaching and Learning general updates.
Thank you, Madam President. Moving forward with teaching and learning expectations, processes, and protocols. Teaching and learning expectation processes and protocols and key classroom components that impact student learning. They've discussed the different climate among teachers with expectations. Although there's minimum pushback from a small percentage of teachers, expectations remain high, and the department is currently moving forward with keeping in place new approaches to teaching and learning. We're trying to find ways to secure more time for teachers to complete the LETRS training. If able, and we have been able to find that extra time, the teachers' compensation will increase for the completion of the training of that program. We've completed the first round of the common formative assessments. The data meeting held on Friday, September 30th was a very good beginning to our data meeting talks. They were very informative for all teachers and principals. I was present at several of those where we moved forward with the first data meeting. There should be some pictures in your packets to show you some of the pictures where we took at those. If not, Ms. Liz has those on the board that will be projected. And at each of the schools, you will see some of them, I participated in the data talks, but the principals were in charge of those data talks at each of their buildings to lead those discussions. And those discussions, what we were looking at were student scores from the first common formative assessment. So with this first common formative assessment, what we were looking at was what was taught immediately for these past 4 weeks. And it's when we get down further, I will show you the data that we got from those. So that's from a specific subset. So as we move forward with the reports on our common formative assessments, we will not be comparing each assessment to each other because we will have taught something different each time. What we will be sharing out is the mastery per content area that we teach. And as we do that, what we've built in is a way to go back and recycle. If the students are not proficient, we will be going back, reteaching, scaffolding, and moving forward at the same time in the classroom. So it's a form of differentiated instruction. And as we move forward, if Ms. Liz will pull up the CFA types of common formative assessment types of question, what we will be focusing on, what we've noticed, what our students have had some concerns with in the past are multiple, this is for ELA, multiple choice questions, the drop and drag and the resequence. And down for the 6th grade, it was multiple choice, drop and drag, editing text. 8th grade was multiple choice selection, drop down text, text entry, passage with questions. So with these charts, what you're seeing is what we're concentrating on for what the students that we've seen in the past have had some difficulties with. So when we do our common formative assessments, it will look like what they will be experiencing on a state test. So we've identified those points and portions on a state test that our students have been challenged with, making sure that they're up to date and giving them, hopefully leveling the playing field so they have a better chance at taking these tests when they see them. The TNT, the TNR, and the URTP, 14 out of 15 of the 21-22 TNT, TNR, and URTP returned to Benton Harbor area schools for the 22-23 school year. 15 new TNT, which is teachers in training, TNR, UTRP teachers have been placed for the 22-23 school year, and all new teachers have been assigned a teacher mentor for the 22-23 school year. For the back to school events, the Fall Tigers Back to School Talent Show Bash, which just happened this last Saturday, was a very successful and exciting event. If you missed it, I'm sorry to hear that. I was there. The students, the parents really enjoyed it. Ms. Liz will show you some of the pictures from the event. I think, oh, you don't have the pictures?
You can visit the Benton Harbor Area Schools page on
Yes.
Facebook, on social media, and see some of those pictures.
Very exciting for those that came out.
All
And
right.
that concludes teaching and learning department.
Are there any questions for Dr. Butts regarding that update provided?
Dr. Buss, I'd like to thank you for this to even be able to, for us to be even having these types of conversations. However, I know that as I shared with Chief Waddell, regard the data that we get back from teachers, whether it's something that we want to hear or don't want to hear, it's imperative that we know.
If our teachers are overwhelmed, if things are being put on them, that's a lot of stuff to happen overnight. And so, it's very, very critical that we make sure that, first of all, we're inspecting what we expect, but we're held to the same standard as it relates to presenting this stuff, because a lot of things are being thrown at the staff. I was a teacher for 27 years and an administrator for 4 years, and what I know best is teaching. And so it has always been a concern of mine as it relates to us not having people, don't say that we don't have a curriculum, but for us not having a curriculum crafter is not a curriculum. Those things are things that we need to really, really intensely work on. It has, when you look at Benton Harbor area schools curriculum, it's aligned with the state standard and what have you. We have everything documented. There is a pacing guide where our kids are going to be. Also, I would like to say, if ask the question, I'll get an opportunity when I meet with you and Ms. Waddell, when we talk about our cohorts of students. I know we looked at past mistakes and things that our kids are making, but are we following and looking at the specific cohorts? Because those cohorts test together, and so there's a lot of different ways to look at this data, but I really want to say that I appreciate your understanding of the pedagogy and the importance and how impaired, because we have a whole lot of other things, but we are an educational institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Any additional comments?
Just one comment, Madam President.
You
if I
have
may.
the floor.
And thank you so much, Secretary Triplett, for your concerns and moving forward. I want to just say I did meet with some of the teachers in reference to their concerns that they've had. I went personally to meet with them to assure them. One of the things, it was a misunderstanding. I wanted to make sure we got it cleared up so we can continue with our culture and climate and improving that, and make sure we keep our staff, we retain our staff and keep the morale up. So yes, sir, I am out, boots on the ground, working to make sure that we are meeting, and I'm holding everyone accountable to make sure that we don't overwork and overload, but also know that we're in transition to move the needle forward. But thank you so much for that, and I will make sure we stay on top of it.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. We'll allow Dr. Butts to proceed with the Window 1 CFA, average percent mastery by grade level.
Yes, ma'am. And Ms. Liz, do you have that one put up? If not, it should be in your packet. This is what I was talking about earlier. On the first one, you should see ELA and math. So if we're looking at ELA on that first tab, you see the grade level and the percent mastery. Again, this was one area that was taught, and this was the mastery out of that area. And it goes from kindergarten up through 12th grade to show the mastery of the area that they taught in ELA. So of course, kindergarten through first grade, there were different areas that were taught, and those specific areas. This right here shows the specific areas of mastery that was taught at each grade level. If you click over to the math tab, it shows you the same thing about mastery. So what we're doing, we're looking at the percent mastery, and we're going back, making sure that we concentrate on keeping those that have mastered moving forward, and those that are low percentage in the mastery, we're going back, revisiting those as we progress forward. We do have the pacing guide, so we want to make sure that we stay on pace with those, so that when we do get to the state testing, the students will at least have a chance of seen the information and have a better chance at taking and passing those state tests, moving the needle forward. Yes, sir.
You have the floor, Secretary Triplett.
So when I look at this information, say for instance, can you please take that down so I can see? Ask my question. When I look at this, okay, this is math, the math window, and I see algebra 10. Okay, so it says 0. Okay, so when you say mastery, is this over one particular skill? This is just one particular skill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we look at this data, this is something, a formative assessment that was established and developed by the teachers in the district.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right.
And it's developed by the staff in the district along with the Common Core standards from the state of Michigan as well. So it aligns with the state standards that what we're teaching.
So with this particular skill, nobody has actually mastered. I mean, it's not a high level, but when you talk about
Right.
growth for us,
Right,
so this is something that would be very concerning
right,
for each grade level
right,
or grade span.
right.
Okay,
So what we're doing is we're making sure, so we see that this is a level, this is area of need. So before we move forward or as we move forward, we're making sure that we're going back revisiting those. This is now where we get the data. So when we start our after school programs, we can now show where we need that additional help. So that's why this was so important to put together first. We had to do those first set of common formative assessments. So now we can start offering those after school programs and spending our funds so we won't lose them on the programs that we need. So now we are more intentional with our programming versus just throwing programming out there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
A comment I wanted to add, I know that we previously had the 21st century program that was in our schools. Another program that was additional to that was dual language. But those programs were removed. At the particular time, I wasn't on the board. And so I can't say that this was factual, but it was stated at that time that there was funding for those programs, but I do not recall why they were removed. So I'm extremely excited to know that we are returning to providing those additional resources within Benton Harbor area schools. So any additional opportunities for us to support our students is definitely going to benefit them in the long run.
Thank you, Madam
You
President.
have the
a
floor.
question. With this 2-minute thing, when we're having discourse, that's not an effect. When we're making comments on situations, it's 2 minutes. When we're talking about situations, we're not going to be censored. We have to pop 2 minutes up, and we need to get clarification on what that 2 minute stands for. But when we're having these types of conversations, we have questions. These are things that we need to know. These are things that our community needs to know. And we are happy, again, that our superintendent is able to answer the questions being asked of him. Thank you.
Trustee Buchanan.
Yes, and President Robinson, I think it was the second time I was on the board, those after-school programs, the kids would eat, then they go play basketball. There was no learning. And there was a waste of money. And I reported to, I can't remember exactly who was the superintendent at the time, but they have about 45 or 50 kids in the building. That after they call the roll, they eat, they go in the gym. So that, to me, if that kid, you got a kid in there that have a problem reading or that, they need all the help they can get.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that's to be checked into about that. If you bring it back, it need to come back because the kid definitely need help.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And that's what we're doing. We're taking this data, making sure we're intentional of what we do and being financially prudent of how we do with our after-school programming. And the biggest, not the biggest, the last part of this is making sure that we provide transportation for our students, for the ones that are transportation challenged. We're making sure that we're putting monies there to provide transportation for those students as well.
And Mr. Superintendent, I'm not
Yes,
trying to make, you can't turn everything over at one time.
Yes, ma'am.
But day by day, you do it, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Buss. We're going to proceed with the monthly financial reports, business and finance.
With the monthly financial report, it's a very lengthy document that I will let you read at your leisure. It's a 31-page document. But I do have a staff report that I would like to report under the business and finance. The staff report reasons for board consideration. A set of financial reports is provided to the Board of Education each month. Facts and analysis. This evening, it is recommended that the August 22 payments be approved for all of the district funds. Policy reference 6470, payment of claims. Strategic plan goal reference, none. The recommended action that the Board of Education approves the August 22 payments for the following funds: the general fund of $343,352.99, food service fund $2,209.28, for a total of $345,562.27.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bus. Is there a motion to approve staff report F1?
So moved.
Support.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett, supported by Vice President Bradley. Any questions, comments, concerns? You have the floor.
A quick question. So how is the finance office set up now that Mr. Johnson is away, or who is going to be running that for the time being? Will you be doing that, or will we have somebody in place for that?
At the present, I'm overseeing that office along with the help of MSBO. Also, we are in discussions with a contracted personnel as well.
Okay.
President Robinson, myself, and Treasurer Creighton has an upcoming meeting to ensure that. Right now, we are, before Mr. Johnson left, I made sure that everything was in place so that the data operations could run for at least the next month, make sure that all payroll, all expenses are covered. I made sure I did that prior to him departing, made sure funds were moved. After the night after we approved the signatories, the very next day I made sure funds were moved to appropriate places so that we can function appropriate as a district until we secure those contracted personnel and until we finish our interviews for the CFO position that we've already started.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
And I know I had you do this last week, but Vice President Bradley wasn't here. Can you give us the acronym meaning for MSBO?
I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am,
Michigan
Madam
School
President.
Business officials or officers?
Michigan Association, Michigan School Board Association, School Business Finance Association. I'm so sorry.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
What is it? I never did.
MSBO, Michigan School Board Office of Finance.
Thank you so very much.
Yes,
Michigan
sir.
School Board Office of Finance. Thank you, Dr. Butts.
Yes, sir.
LMNOP.
Uh-huh.
We have so many different acronyms. I just want to make sure when sometimes you can use words that are second nature to you, but you want to make sure that people have a full understanding of which particular business office is being referenced. Secretary Triplett.
Madam President, I am just very concerned with this district having millions and millions of dollars available to them through ESSER funds and through Title I and through all different types of programs, and not a dime is being spent. And I hope that as you guys go forward, that is something that is seriously taken into consideration. We have millions of dollars in sinking funds, and we have buildings that are not being taken care of. We are paying for insurance of these buildings, which was never, ever used when these buildings were damaged. It's just so many things that is not taking place. Our teachers are still struggling with supplies and things that's necessary for them, and this is not right. And so for me, once you all, I know you all will be meeting as a financial team and what have you, but I have some serious concerns about how we move. When I saw zero sinking funds, 2007, zero sinking fund, that's unacceptable. So again, I will definitely be pressing, pushing, questioning, and what have you, because it's not right to just sit up there and hold that money and it's not getting down to our people and our kids. And it's not, thank you.
I was just gonna add, when you were finished, that was not an attempt to rush you.
No, I was seeing that she pops it on very quickly.
You sound as if you are advocating for yourself a seat on the finance committee
No.
next year.
No, I said I was
I think
confident.
that-
I
And
can't
so
I
I
think
am
that
not
will be-
sure how the Lord will bless the Board of Education next year, or who the president will be that will have the ability to appoint. But I just wanted to make sure that I note that observation. Trustee Buchanan.
President Robinson, I know you probably in school at the time this happened. I was working in the district. School board lost millions of dollars because they didn't have nobody to spend. So, like he said, sometimes you got to pay close attention to. I think Dr. Butts be the one to find out stuff about this. But I know they lost money. Yes, they did. All this sinking fund money. I think Ms. Rockett was a She was principal at the time. Remember Ms. Rocket?
See her
You
na-
had nothing to do with it. You wasn't on the board,
She
but you
said her
remember
name
when
is
they
Bennett
lost
and she ain't in it.
They lost money.
Well, I mean,
Title fund. All that money they lost.
it went back.
It went back to the state.
I've never known them to send any money back. to
No,
the
no,
state.
you were president.
Just one time when they lost those grants. Other
They
than
lost
that,
a
we never
lot.
lost Title I dollars because we would always carry them. Our funds could carry over from one year until like November of the next year. And we always made sure we spent
No,
those.
they lost that money.
This,
You have the floor,
I'm
Secretary
sorry.
Triplett.
And when you talk about the Title I
Yeah.
funds and what have you, for the first time, in 2015, 16, the high school, which had not been a Title I school prior to, the whole district became Title I. I know exactly what Ms. Buchanan is saying.
Yeah.
Because they were under the, first of all, every Title I dime should be spent,
Yes, ma'am.
every penny. It should not be no overflow. It should not be no holdup in the finance office as to why these monies are not distributed. And the myth is that it carries over, but only a certain percentage of that money carries over. Not all of that money carries over. So only 15% or 20% of that money carries over. And so our principal have to have that budget at the beginning of the year, not when they get ready to have the deadline and say, okay, y'all got to spend all this money, when it should be spent from the beginning. The money that was approved, the money that was carried over, all of that money needs to be spent, not one dime, but what we need in this school district. And we have, and this is not supplanting, but there are some things that we can do to supplement the things that we don't have, that the general fund is not able to. But according to Mr. Johnson, we have millions of dollars that we've saved. So we should have that money sitting there that we'll be able to not supplant and be able to get the things that's necessary after audit.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. So if I'm not mistaken, we're still within discussion of staff report F1. If there are no additional comments, I'll ask that Secretary Triplett please call the vote for staff report F1 regarding the monthly financial reports.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan,
Yeah.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. So I will note that we're doing an amazing job with moving through our agenda today. It is now 6:44, so we've only been here for an hour and 15 minutes. We can definitely hit that 2-hour goal, if not less. So we're going to continue it with Dr. Butts providing separation of employment and new hires. And I'll be honest, when I initially opened these reports, I thought they were the opposite. So I almost had a heart attack thinking that H2 was the separations, but I'm extremely excited looking at the comparative reports. So I'll give you the floor, Dr. Butts, with staff report H1.
Thank you, Madam President. For staff report H1, subject separation of employment, reason for board consideration, a list of employees whose employment relationship with the district is or will be separated is submitted to the board each month. Facts and analysis, it is recommended that the Board of Education votes to accept the separation of employment of the following staff. Policy reference 4140, resignation of support staff. Strategic plan goal reference, none. Cynthia Nichols, TNT, 7th grade, resignation 9/13, effective date of hire 8/26/22. The recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area School Board of Education votes to accept the separation of employment of the aforementioned staff.
Is there a motion to approve staff report H1?
So moved.
Support.
So I'll take the motion from Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Buchanan. I heard them simultaneously. Questions, comments, and concerns regarding staff report H1? I do have just a quick question. I noticed, I just want to make sure the dates are correct. The data hire is only a couple weeks prior to the resignation date.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'll follow up with you regarding if there was an exit survey completed so we can determine what was the cause of that. Any additional comments or questions?
That's what I was saying too. I think that they should do an exit survey when they leave this district. That's the only way we'll get better.
Yes,
That
sir.
it should be required, people saying they didn't choose not to know. They should do an exit survey when they leave this district. It helps us. If they're going to another job, that's fine. But if there's something internally that was disturbing, that's the only way we get better. They leave the job. Thank you.
Might I say this? The HR committee is aware.
You
and
have the
due to
floor,
the
trustee Rocket Martin.
Due to the confidentiality of this matter, we are not at liberty to openly, say what's going on. So individually or secret, we can discuss it, but it is a matter that has to be taken very confidential, in confidence.
So I wasn't, just to clarify, I wasn't asking for the clarification here. I was just asking whether or not the person provided an exit survey and allow for us to see that. So that's something that we can see in follow-up. I know that the HR committee will have that information. Vice President Bradley.
No.
All right, Secretary Triplett.
And that's the thing too. No, we would definitely, we already know those rules and parameters, but we're saying that it should be on file. And just like the HR committee has access to it, the entire board has access to it. It's not just for the HR committee to know or not to know. So even if there's something pressing, once we come back from our committee, it is imperative that the committee reports to the Board of Education and not just the individual that's running that particular or chairing or working on that particular committee. But we would never put HR information out in the public. We're very clear as far as confidentiality guidelines are concerned.
It is our goal that if given permission by the people that can do the surveys, if they will give us the okay to release them to publicly to the school, to the rest of the board members or whatever, we most certainly will do that. We're not trying to hide.
But let me ask you a question. What would make you more, just because you're on that committee, what would make you able to hear it and the other trustees not able to hear that? They don't have to get permission from them for any of us to see that.
So I think we would be able to receive the clarification. That particular piece would not be a secret. It's the exit survey itself. If they indicate that they don't want it forwarded to the board, then that particular document wouldn't be forwarded, but we would still be privy to the information as Board of Education
We
members.
can only release those when they give us permission.
Okay, so we're gonna proceed with the vote on staff report H1, and we did get a little bit more conversational with that discussion. So just want to make sure that we allow me to pass you the mic before you continue with your point or comment. So Secretary Triplett, can you call the vote for staff report H1?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan.
Yeah.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next we have staff report H2, which looks amazing. So I'll allow Dr. Butts to proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. Submitting for board consideration, staff report H2, to approve the employment of staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Facts and analysis, it is recommended that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for the hire of the following personnel. Policy reference 3120-4120, employment of professional support staff. Strategic plan goal reference, personnel leadership. Benton Harbor area schools will recruit, hire, develop, and retain the best staff to improve student outcomes. For the new hires will be Corliss Nichols, TNT ELA at Fairplain Middle School. Natalie Pantaleo, para-academic, Fairplain Middle School, with the effective date of 9/19. For Corliss Nichols, the effective date of 9/19. Wilma Cates, academic interventionist, River of Life Central, effective date of 10/3/22. Carolyn Phillips, para-academic at Cape, effective date 10/3/22. Isabella Vaz, family community specialist, Fairplain Middle School, effective date 10/3/22. Dontrell Sims, para-sped, Benton Harbor Area High School, effective date 10/4/22. Jaron Allen McAfee, TNT Social Studies, Fairplain Middle School, effective date 10/17/22. Brandon Spencer, TNT Art, Benton Harbor High School, effective date 10/17/22. Brittany Gathing, TNT ELA, Benton Harbor High School, effective date 10/17/22. Demiron Gidry, teacher, CTE Media Communications, Benton Harbor High School, effective date 10/17/22. Denise Santos, teacher band, Fairplain Middle School, 1/9/23. The recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area School Board votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff.
I'll make a motion.
All right, is there a motion to approve staff report H2?
I'll make a motion to support
I
staff
second.
report H2.
You make a motion and support? Of what? You get me
I
confused.
made the motion.
I make a motion.
The
and
motion
support.
was made, what I believe is that Vice President Bradley was making the motion to approve staff report H2, and I heard trustee Buchanan in supporting that. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns regarding staff report H2? I'll jump in and add before passing the mic that I think it's wonderful that we have done some recruiting of staff, seeing a little bit of variety in the schools that are listed. Almost all of our schools outside of Fairplain Elementary is noted. So that's extremely excited that we're recruiting for the majority of our buildings. And then also ironically, Secretary Triplett and I were having a conversation regarding the need for band to be strengthened in our middle school and elementary programs, specifically being that one of our core areas for our mission and our goals is athletics, academics, and the arts. And so this is actually making sure that we are reaching those identified goals. So I am going to pass the mic to Vice President Bradley.
That band director, I think she used to be a former band director in the district, and at one point in time was considered to be the high school director years ago. And I am happy to see band. I know I was having a discussion with Dr. Butts and Mrs. Butts at the homecoming game about the music program. So I'm happy to see that we're getting a band director, and hopefully we can keep on building and get into our elementary schools as well.
Secretary Triplett.
What I like about this is I see community. I see Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
I see employees that are graduates of this institution. I see employees.
Yeah.
I can't hear this paper shuffling over here to my right. It's kind of throwing my thought off. Okay. Yes, it's Miss Santos was the band director at Fairplain Middle School. Worked with her. I'm so glad to have Denise back. Brittany, University of Michigan graduate, been trying for a few years to come back and be a part of the district. So this is absolutely amazing for our recruitment position for Mr. McDermott. You're doing an excellent job. I just hope that we don't lose these people and that it's not so much pressure and people are not made to feel comfortable when you come in as a substitute teacher or a teacher in training and what have you. Oftentimes those people are not given the necessary support. That's very, very, very important. The substitute teachers in training, they get everything that they need and so much more, because this is an absolutely great list of people.
All right, any additional comments? Hearing none, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote for staff report H2?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan.
Yeah.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, awesome. Welcome to Benton Harbor area schools for each of those noted and hired. So we have gotten through our agenda very quickly. Next on the agenda is old business. Vice President Bradley, I did represent you last week in your absence about our conferences, so I'll give you the floor.
Okay, I do have two quick things. You all may have received an email from me Friday evening about the delegate assembly. Please make sure that you, if you have any questions or comments, this is for everybody on the board, that you get with me to make sure that we, if you have any concerns about the delegate assembly. There are a few things that they have coming up, some including like the purchase of school buses. They will say electrical buses, look into that. So just make sure you get that and you plug that into any other board member as well. And for those who are attending, you can come to the delegate assembly, but I could be the only one to vote for that. I do plan in favor of voting for those. But if you have comments or something, or just want to see how that process works, that will take place at the conference. Then also for those going to the annual leadership conference, we'll probably coordinate either sometime later on this week or next week. And I'm looking forward to it. I know our superintendent is going, President Robinson, Secretary
He's had
Triplett.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so we all, want to represent and hold down Benton Harbor because we want to, make sure we have representation at the state level, because people know about what's going on here, and they so much times hear about the negative. but to actually put a face to what's going on, the changes, the positivity going on here, that's a good thing. And that's it.
All right, thank you. And Dr. Bus has actually had an update to his schedule, so he won't be attending. It'll just be the four of us. And I believe Secretary Triplett is requiring that I ride with him. So we more than likely will all maybe leave out at the same time and just trail each other in the two cars. I was voluntold, so I'll be riding with my secretary. All right, any additional old business? Hearing none, any new business? The only thing that I had for old business was just a reminder that we need the school tours. But Secretary Triplett did mention that earlier, and I know that we were trying to ensure that we had a correct amount of groups. And so what me and Vice President Bradley discussed is that we can have 2 groups of 3. And I know that I normally meet with you for one-on-ones and things, so I'm okay with us scheduling our tour around a one-on-one.
Okay.
Or I can delay mine, just ensuring that the majority of the board is able to go without it being any conflicts.
Okay.
All right. So hearing no new business, we'll proceed with open public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to make a public comment at this time? Well, hearing none, I will move forward. You would? Okay. So I do have a statement that I do need to read, but you can come up as I read it. It's just standard. The Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Today, there are 2 areas for comment on the agenda of which you may decide when to speak. Public comment on agenda items and where we are currently open public comment. We request that each interested participant complete a public participation form using legible writing to ensure that responses are appropriate and properly focused. Per Benton Harbor Area Schools Bylaws 0167.3, which governs board participation at board meetings, we request that you preface your comments with your name, address, and group affiliation when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 3-minute duration, and per our bylaws, no participant may speak more than once on the same topic until any other person has had the opportunity to speak on that topic. Participants may remove their masks when addressing the board. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. I, as president, will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response. Please ensure that the public participation form includes your contact information as requested. If you have specific questions for the board or executive team that require follow-up, please email those directly to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. You have the floor.
Okay, now I'm scared to death. I feel like I'm on trial.
No, you're not. You have the floor.
Before she make a statement, whatever she applied for, I know her person, she can sing, do all that. So we're gonna hire you if you come for a job. I'm gonna hire you myself.
Really? Okay. Thank you. You have the floor.
Thank
And
you.
it's not meant to be intimidating at all. Sometimes we have a large group of people, so we try to make sure that we made the expectations very clear for individuals, but you have the floor.
Thank you, President Robinson. Thank you, Trustee Buchanan, who I've known since I've known myself.
1980.
Oh, it was definitely the 80s. She helped me establish myself as an athlete in my very early days of athleticism. My name is Cindy Goodson. I am the new instructional facilitator here at the high school. I am graduating class of the proud 1986, and we are always in the mix. Also a former varsity cheerleader for the impeccable, unprecedented, none can become for him or after Dr. Triplett here. I had the pleasure of meeting Ms. Rockett, and I know that, Madam President, you and I are friends on Facebook, and I've started following you. Haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, Mr. Bradley, yet, but I have definitely had some amazing and wonderful, very positive interactions with Dr. Butts, couple of interviews, and then was brought in as an instructional facilitator here at the high school. Get to work in the same halls that I, for 4 years co-owned. No, I'm just kidding. I was very busy here in these high school streets. I wanted to just come up and really, I didn't realize it was this formal. This is my first board meeting ever in my life. And I guess my time is running out. Am I on the clock here? Okay. I wanted to just give really a huge applause to everything that's going on. I left here in 1986 at 17 years old. I came back and I'm, 18 years old. So at heart. Yeah, I've been in Houston, Texas for over 35 years. So coming back few years ago to take care of my mom, I knew that, it was a plan of God to get involved with this community and this school district. Benton Harbor raised me. And so I'm connected automatically. There's no getting away from it. I wanted to just come up and say what an amazing job I feel like this district is doing to continue to be the pillar of this community. And Dr. Butts, everything that you've done or doing and the charge that you've been given is great. It's massive. It's beyond measure. And the fact that you can sit here and be so calm and presenting all of these very very highly scrupulous tasks is beyond words. So I definitely applaud you coming in here and doing the work that you're doing. And I know that it's not easy, but I do want to also let you know that you are partnered with some of the greatest pillars in the community. So, we got your back. I have a particular, and I probably some others have some comments. I wanted to get specifically some clarity on an incident that happened this past weekend with regards to Trooper Burton. Is this where I come and ask the questions like that? I don't know.
So you can ask the questions, but your response would be a follow-up. It wouldn't be provided
Okay.
verbally. But if the question that you have is you're comfortable with asking that now, you can do so.
All I want is, I just wanted to know protocols. It may even not even be privy to someone who works as instructional staff at the district. But I know that as an instructional facilitator working directly and supporting teachers, when we had I was told that there was a suspension that took place that involved we consider the head of security. I immediately had teachers that came into my office that were concerned about the safety of the high school, that being the case because of the presence of Trooper Maurice Burton. And so basically, I just want to have the ability to comfort and support the teachers, not just in the classroom with the curriculums and with lesson plans and instructional guides and managing students, behavioral, but I also need to make sure that my teachers they feel safe. So that's my only concern, question, comment. And if there's any way to address that part, we talked about all of the other wonderful things that we are doing in the district, and and I'm here for it. And I understand my assignment, Dr. Butts, and to the board. I just want to know how we as instructional facilitators can make our high school and the other schools as well. Obviously, the high school, we're the most challenged. I guess my time is up. How do I go back and make sure that my teachers feel safe when, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for open public comment this evening? You have the floor.
Hello, council. Hello, Aunt Lou. Hello, Ms.
What'd you
Triplett.
say?
Hello, Ms. Arquette.
What'd you say?
Hello, Mr. Bradley.
What'd you say? to
Hello,
me?
Ms. Roberts.
What'd
I
you
said, hello, Aunt Lou.
Oh, okay.
How you doing? Hello, Superintendent.
Hello, sir.
I work for the high school. I'm here every day. I'm on ground zero. And when I say ground zero, that means that I'm on the front line for y'all. If our voices is not heard on the ground floor where y'all soldiers is at, it is a problem. Every day I come in here, I'm 40 kids. Sorry to say, a lot of y'all might know my dad, Tyrone Porter. He worked for the school system my whole life. I'm doing this because of him. I've went to bat for these kids. You know what I'm saying? On the situation and on the note that she said, Mrs. Goodson, I appreciate you, on Trooper Burton, that man, he wants the best for the kids. Technically, he don't have to do this. We all know that. For him to be here, he's been around the school system for he watched me come. He watched you come. Who knows? He's a monarch in our community. I can't understand. I don't know why. The school is empty right now. Like, people didn't come to work. Kids don't feel the same. I don't feel the same. And I get up every morning and come in here to see that man because I always seen him. I don't understand. I don't know why. If doing your job is a problem, I don't know what to say. He been here protecting all of us, not just me, not just y'all. Because before administration was on the 3rd floor, he was protecting us. Nobody had no problem with him protecting us and doing what he had to do for Benton Harbor, this city, this school district. That man does his job. I can't tell you where things or what decisions people made or where they come from. But I never seen that man cry. You see what I'm saying?
Kind sir, I don't mean to be rude, but can you please wrap up your comment?
I'm about to,
Okay, thank you.
but we got a big audience.
Our
But
bylaws are bylaws.
yeah, we
Thank
got a
you.
big audience. Sorry, Miss Robinson.
No, you're okay.
I'll shorten it up. But with that being said, I just want to know what, or if you could even answer, it might be closed, like I heard what you told Ms. Goodson. Is that man wrong for doing his job? Making sure that we all safe, like he been doing for 34 years. 34 years. You watched him come. I watched him come. He really do this out the kindness of his heart. He's a retired state trooper. So everything he does is out of love. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So for both of the comments that have been made, the superintendent will follow up after doing research into the concerns or questions that were posed. Anyone else for open public comment? You have the floor.
My name is Janella Schnupp, and I am the academic interventionist at Fairplain Middle School. And I wanted to address the conversation about the CFAs. I taught for the first couple of weeks as a sixth grade ELA teacher until Ms. Nichols came in, and then I was reinstated as the academic interventionist. The curriculum discussion was actually, and I'm a little surprised, right? Because I know most of you are educators. And so I just wanted to point out and remind us that when we talk about curriculum, we're talking about a set of standards. We're not talking about a textbook. And so what the district has done from the administrative side down is to hand us standards that we're supposed to be teaching. And we do it for 4 weeks, and then we test the students on it. The students have never seen these tests before. While I have been doing this type of work for 12 years, most of my colleagues have not. And so this whole process was brand new to everybody. The tests that the students took, the particular drop and drag, most of them couldn't see the question and they didn't know how to get to it. So one of the things that we have to do is teach them how to take the test. We're not teaching them the test, we're teaching them how to take the test. And I've already had those conversations with most of the students that I see for the first hour of the day. And that's the second thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm sure Dr. Butts already has. The first 2 hours, the first hour at middle school, we have one group of students that we see for 30 minutes that's about math. We have one group of students that we see that is about ELA. And those students have been grouped according to those CFA scores that you saw. And so the goal is that when we take our next set of CFAs in a week and a half, because it'll be the 24th, 25th, 26th, when we take those and we have our next data meeting on the 28th, those scores will look better, right? Because the students will be used to the test, will be used to teaching the way that they're asking us to teach. And the goal is that every day, every step of the way, they get better at taking those tests. Because what we're finding is most of them just don't understand that element. And so a lot of it, yes, we know, is the other academic side of things. That's why you all hired me, right? But part of it is if I don't understand how to do this, or I can't see the question, then how do I answer it? And so I just wanted to touch on those two things. And thank you for your time. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else for open public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed with the agenda. We appreciate all of the comments that were provided today. We are going to move forward with interim superintendent announcements and comments.
Thank you, Madam President. The following are highlights for the Board of Education on 10/11/22. I'd like to give a thanks to Overflow Church for taking the day of service on October 2nd and helping with painting at Fairplain East. They also redid the Teachers Lounge over the summer and have now officially adopted Fairplain East as their school about a month ago. The district will also receive a $2,500 donation from Walsworth Company. The donation is directed to be used for our literacy program. Thank you to the people at Walsworth. A good turnout for the Donuts for Dads today at Fairplain Middle School, and pictures will be provided on our Facebook page. The Parent-Teacher Conference, I want to remind everyone, will be this Thursday at each school. Details have been sent out to parents for conference signups and updates. There are no classes on Thursday. Also, to address one of the things that were brought to our attention earlier, the gym painting will begin within the next 2 weeks. That was already secured. As far as FTE, our count day, we're roughly looking at 1,422 to 1,430 students. I can tell you that we have a 30-day window. So please keep in mind that number that I just gave you is actual student bodies. So FTE will also go back and include those special ed students along with the student bodies. And if they were out for an excused absence, they must return within 30 days and sit in each classroom so that we can be fully funded for them. If there was an unexcused absent, they must return for within the next 10 days and sit in each class or sit in the elementary seat all day to be counted for the full FTE on those. I can tell you, we have seen an influx of our Hispanic students. So the student count number, we have the next 30 days to make sure that we have those accurate numbers. So the next board meeting, you should have accurate count numbers for the district. And that's all I have for highlights for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Buss. We will move on next to trustee Rocket Martin.
Okay, just final things. I'd like to thank the athletic department. I assume that's where it comes from for the seasonal passes to the games that we did receive. I did pick mine up. I'm not that much of a football fan, but I still say go Tigers, but I am a basketball fan. So I'll be coming to those games and doing what I need to do to get there. October 8th, our Saturday function was such a wonderful function. I thought it was a great hit with the community. The families came, the kids came, and hats off to our volunteers. I'd like to thank them because they were faithful and they were dedicated. Those of us that had to stay outside, it was pretty chilly, but we weathered the storm. We weathered the weather, and it was a great, thought it was just a great opportunity for the school district to connect with the community. And everybody looked like they were enjoying the food and having fun. To our superintendent, I did get feedback from those coming to the function, you know, how they just talk, you know. And I've heard wonderful things about you. The community, the people that spoke with me, they were very happy with you, and teachers expressed their joy of having you on board and how that you have visited their classrooms more this year than they've ever had superintendents to visit their rooms before in their buildings. And they are quite taken with you. So that means you must be doing something right. Teachers, and I'll say as a teacher, we're not that easy to please. So,
thank you.
yeah. So with that being said, and I'd just like to thank my board members and just our community for entrusting, you know, us with your children and being a part of Benton Harbor area schools and the district. And for Ms. Goodman, I have a nephew that just flew in today from Houston. So I'm gonna have, maybe you can give him some pointers. He's only been down there for about 2 years. So, yeah, but I enjoyed meeting you at the function they had at the high school, the back to, what was it? The
Back to school bash.
career day or whatever it was. What was it?
Back to school bash.
Yeah, but it was, the high school was very nice. They had the colleges in and offered, you know, opportunities for children to get scholarships or tell them about how to go to school. You know, it was just a really nice function at all the schools in Benton Harbor. So with that being said, thank you for the work that you are doing, everybody. I'm thanking you.
Thank you, trustee Rocket Martin. Next, we have Secretary Triplett.
Well, I too would like to piggyback on some of the great and absolutely amazing things that are happening here at the district. Change is necessary, however, change is very difficult. I am a little bit shocked, you know, just with tonight, just hearing something, just hearing what I just heard. I knew nothing about it. And I think that's something that when we talk about our committees and different things, how does this information get to the board in its entirety? I don't, you know. But I'm quite sure that protocols were followed properly. And I am, you know, confident that we'll be able to move forward from this. But I think that it's very important that I might be the chairman of the curriculum committee, but it is my responsibility to get this information to the entire board. And it's for us to communicate between ourselves and the superintendent. That's just like HR issues and what have you. Again, I am very, very excited. This is probably the first surprise that I've ever had at the board table since you've been here. You know, I'm just kind of like a little bit, don't know how to respond or what have you. But again, thank you so much, Dr. Butts. Thank you. Thank you so much for the things that you are doing. And I appreciate it and continue to do the good work of this district. Appreciate it.
Oh, you had 18 seconds to spare, kind sir.
I better be glad I ain't go
Amazing
off.
job.
Look. Okay, I'm trying not to cuss and all of, you know, hallelujah.
All right. Trustee Buchanan, I know you're off to the side without a mic. Did you have any particular comment that you wanted to make this evening? Do you have a board comment? Okay, we're gonna wait 1 second. Paul is gonna bring you a mic. We have to make sure it's on the record for minutes in the recording.
It's time for me to make my comments.
Yes, it's your comment time.
President Robinson, nice seeing you today. And to all our visitors, welcome back. And to Miss Goodson, which makes me, you know, if I live next year, I'll be 80 years old. And when I saw you come up to the podium in 1979 in St. Joe, my softball team won state in 1980. And her grandfather, I got to tell this story. Her grandfather, Fred Patterson, was out there, run in. I said, no, I was the coach. I wasn't putting her in. And we went to Lance and won state. I love you, Cindy. And my heart is happy to see people that your parents went to school here, you came back, you got so many talents, sing, you can do this, and we're gonna get together because I'm planning something. Our kids need us. And I got some legs that can walk for me. I can give you instructions, you can walk for me. So we're gonna do it this year, okay? All right, thank you. I'm so proud of you.
All right, thank you. All right, next we have Vice President Bradley.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh my God. So, you know, thank you all for coming out. Thank you to our staff for all the hard work that you do. We definitely try to listen to y'all because y'all make everything run, you know. You, like you said, y'all down here. I'm gonna get on somebody's nerves when I say this, but you know, we're at that 50,000 foot view. And then and that's, you know, from our school board training, and you know, we're you know, I want to make sure that you all are making sure the engines are running down here. And then sometimes I'll come down, talk to the superintendent, he'll tell me, okay, this is what's going on, X, Y, and Z. So I appreciate you all the hard work that you do. To Ms. Goodson, welcome. And it's always good to see a fellow alumni coming in. I like Houston. I don't like the traffic. I'm a truck driver. I go down there from time to time and I'm like, and it's hot, yeah. And so I go down there from time to time. I was just there in April, I think. I got a few things I got to take up with the facilities committee, so I don't want to get that note mixed up. So I'll get with you, Dr. Butts, on that. Homecoming was phenomenal. I heard somebody say Tiger Pride has been restored. It never was lost. It was just, we've always had pride in our community. Homecoming was phenomenal. It was good to see some alumni, fellowship with a few people. Saw one of our former band directors out there. Had, you know, a conversation with a few of the students, stood down there by the band, you know, had a lot of memories come back, and looking forward to good things. Don't forget to vote on November 8th. Hopefully the board that we have remains the same, intact, because we have a lot of good things. And, you know, let the community know we have a lot of good things coming forth. Change takes time. We've been working hard, getting things done. Change takes time. Some things we can change real quick. Some things we can't. I'm not gonna go over my time. want to be respectful of time limits. Look forward to the leadership conference, and y'all have a blessed night.
So I just want to note that it's 7:26 and we are on our final comment of the night, and I only have 2 minutes to go. So we are going to make our goal. I just want to thank everyone, as always, for being present today. Thank our Board of Education members who were able to attend, as well as the members of the community and our staff that attended in support. We appreciate everyone greatly for what you bring to the team. We know that hard work is something that is required at every level of leadership, and we definitely can't be amazing without the efforts of everyone that contribute to the work at Benton Harbor area schools. Our vision is being committed to being the best in academic, athletics, and the arts. And so we are definitely making efforts to ensure that that is something that we can all see come into fruition. I state always that I would like for us to be a #1 option as it relates to school of choice. And so I have faith that God will continue to lead us. And I did what you said, resignated, because I left home. I was only gone for 10 years. I came back, was here for a few years, ran into Secretary Triplett. He got on me a little bit because he felt like it was efforts, stronger efforts that could be being made. And he didn't know that I was actually in that season in my life where I felt like I needed more. And I prayed and asked God to show me exactly what he wanted me to do. And he put me right in the building the moment that the secretary of the board had resigned. And so it was just ironic that it occurred, came before the board, was appointed and elected as the secretary within the same day. Our board here trusted me to lead as its president. And so I know that God makes no mistakes. I know that I've been brought back to Benton Harbor area schools for a reason. And so I'm honored to have the opportunity to serve as the president as we turn our district around. And so I'm grateful for each of you. I will wrap it up by saying I appreciate everyone's patience when I try to stay firm on our expectations for time, but it is something that moves us along efficiently and effectively. And with that being said, I value you all. I am going to call for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
The motion has been made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Trustee Buchanan. Questions, comments, or concerns?
This is the first meeting since 2020 where we've dismissed another 2 hours.
Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:29 p.m. I did it